Station going live in 3, 2, 1. Real Liberty Media. RLM Radio. Station now live.
Cue music now!
Well, welcome back to... Oh, I guess I could turn that microphone up. Check 1, check 2. That's better. That's better. Can you hear me now? Welcome back to Real Liberty Media and Liberty Tunes. Took last weekend off. That was a little busy. Had a lot of stuff going on with the day job, so had to take care of that. But tonight we are back. I've got like 46 minutes of music I want to play. I've got 4 brand new, I guess I'm just going to call them Byte Rebel songs. But we're also going to play a bunch of Tom MacDonald because I got my old Tom MacDonald collection pulled in to the hard drive on the computer here. So we're going to play some classic Tom MacDonald. Tom MacDonald's freaking awesome. If you don't know who that is, stick around because you're going to find out. But let's just kick this thing off right.
Turn it up, feel the sound, break the chains. Your voice, your choice, no data in vain. Liberty Tunes where the free arts collide. Own your story, let your soul decide. Own your data, rock your freedom loud. Sing it high, stand up proud. Liberty Tunes where the truth's alive. Freedom's anthem where dreams survive.
So like I was saying, I got some news stories, not, fancy news, from my end of the world, but just some news stories I wanted to talk about tonight. But also the new songs and a bunch of Tom MacDonald that I want to play. Looks like we are streaming live on all the usual places, Party, X. I don't know. I did find out, I was reminded that we do have like 4 Odyssey channels. I do have some stuff that I should probably talk about. I started another podcast here a while back. It's called Liberty Beats, and what it is, it's my music that I write and use AI to produce for the show. I'm releasing it through a podcast called Liberty Beats. It originates from Substack, so it I think it's only on Substack and Blurt Media and I can't remember what the other one is. Odyssey. But you can get those free. If you want, it's literally, each episode is literally just the song, and the show notes is the lyrics for the song. And I just figure, why not? I've got enough stuff that I've produced over the last 9 months that I could release a song every day for a year, and it would still come out on top. Well, maybe not a year, but I don't think it's been that many songs. But anyways, I haven't released them that quickly so far. I think I put 5 of them over there. And last I looked, a week ago, the downloads just on Substack was in the 50s for the songs. Liberty Beats. Yeah, 57. Wow. This show's podcast is up to 163 downloads. That's impressive. Thank you guys for listening. And that's just on Substack. I don't know what about the others. I don't care too much about YouTube to keep up with it. But anyways, let's kick things off right with the first Tom MacDonald song I ever heard. And this one just got me hooked on it because this is, I'm not into rap other than, stuff like, rap metal stuff. But this is not, Tom MacDonald is not metal. He's rap. And dude, this is just straight up freaking awesome. Just check this out. It's The System.
Welcome to the world, baby boy. I'll paint you red and white and blue. The indoctrination starts as soon as you come out the womb. Pretty quick, we'll make you stupid with curriculums at school. And if the classroom doesn't do the trick, we'll make you watch the news. Pick your team, right or left, take the red pill or the blue. You can vote, but even if you win, still everyone will lose. Don't forget to buy designer because Gucci makes you cool. We prioritize material belongings over truth. Get a job that you can't stand so you can buy some cans of food. Go overseas and die for freedom, there's some oil we can use. Our democracy exists so that you think that you can choose. But our algorithms make you do what we want you to do. What's the problem? You're depressed, society has you confused. We got medication for you that you'll probably abuse. Go get married to a lady who also don't have a clue, and pump out a few babies that are just the same as you. Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong. Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong. Welcome to the world, baby girl. I'll paint you pink if that's okay. We'll encourage self-destruction through the music that you play. We divided out of men by trying politics and race, and honestly, it's working awesome, so for you, we'll do the same. Never teaching you to love yourself, inject you full of hate, objectify your sexuality, then blame you for the rape, and weaponize the differences that make our men and women great. Then just to screw with you, erase the genders. Everyone's the same. We'll empower you with rights to vote and fight for equal pay, then have the men turn into women and you'll fight for them again. But you thought you had it figured out, but everything has changed. Welcome to the system. Please enjoy your stay. Here's a Bible and a bottle of the cheapest booze we make. Find a man who can take care of you to fill the holes we made. Buy a house and settle down, fulfill your duty, procreate, and make a couple babies who will also do the same. Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong. Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong. Welcome to the world, everybody. I'ma paint you black and white. I'ma make you hate each other so that everyone will fight. I'ma give you our religion, let the righteous find the light. But I will also give you science to oppose the word of Christ. And I'ma give you borders, they're imaginary lines. If you cross them, go to war and win when everybody dies. And I'ma give you money that you'll value more than life, and let the 1% have everything while you fight to survive. And then I'll give you politics, I'll call it left and right. And while you divide yourselves, I will conquer both the sides. Can't you see? I'm the system, my whole purpose is divide. What you choose will never matter because everything is mine. Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong. Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong. Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong.
See what I tell you. I told you guys would like that. Tom MacDonald, fucking badass. So anyways, 404 Media. TikTok shop sells viral GPS trackers marketed to stalkers. You just can't make this shit up. TikTok shop is selling GPS trackers marketed with viral videos that have voiceovers explicitly encouraging secretly tracking a romantic partner. Some of the videos have millions of views, and TikTok shop's owners' metrics show that God, I hate when they do that. Metrics show that more than 100,000 of the devices have been sold. If your girl says she's just out with friends every night, you'd better slap one of these on her car. No, it's not an AirTag. It's a real GPS tracker, one clip says, which has 5 million views. The video shows someone putting a tracker in various hidden locations in a car, a plastic bag in the trunk, magnetically attached underneath or on the inside of the hood. And unlike AirTags, this thing doesn't make a sound, doesn't send alerts. She will never know it's there. It's tiny, black, magnetic. Hide it under the seat. Hide it in the trunk. Wherever. It's got its own SIM, so you can track her anywhere in the world. No Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth, just raw location data whenever you want it. See, this is the problem. If you're that worried, then you probably shouldn't be with the person. I mean, you got to think of it this way. Just because you're married or in a relationship with another human being, they're still human beings. You don't own that other person. If they're going to cheat, they were planning on cheating all along. So I could understand having a GPS tracker on your car for like your kid, especially if your kid is like wild, a little rebellion, like of some certain other people I know. I might know of someone that was a little rebellious in his youth. But yeah, if I had a GPS tracker when I was a teenager, my ass would have been in jail a long time ago. But anyways, I could see that, as long as you're not, using it to track your kid down every 5 minutes. I mean, parents nowadays tend to be a little overprotective compared to what, things were when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s. But yeah, that's if your significant other is going to cheat, they're going to cheat whether you're using a GPS tracker or not. If you can't trust them, then you guys weren't meant to should be together. Don't do stuff that's stupid like that. Let's see. This one, U.S. Treasury weighs digital ID verification in DeFi under the Genius Act. What a stupid name for that act, that is. Coding KYC into smart contracts threatens to turn permissionless finance into a gated system. This is from reclaimthenet.org. If you've never been to it, go check it out and subscribe. The U.S. Treasury is exploring whether decentralized finance, or DeFi for uneducated people like me, that means decentralized finance, DeFi, smart contracts should include embedded digital identity checks, a move that would fundamentally alter how being anonymous and privacy function in blockchain-based ecosystems. This initiative stems from the recently enacted Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stablecoins, also known as the Genius Act, which not only establishes a regulatory path for dollar-backed tokens, but also mandates that stablecoin issuers comply with anti-money laundering laws, including Know Your Customer, or KYC, requirements. As part of the law's rollout, the Treasury has issued a formal request for public feedback on novel techniques to detect illicit finance involving digital assets. In case you haven't figured this out yet, side note, this is not part of the story, but in case you have not figured this out yet, when it comes to the U.S. government and the bills and acts and laws that it enacts, are never what they actually call the act. Like the guiding and establishing national innovation for U.S. stablecoins. That's not at all what it's about. The Feed the Children bill is never about feeding the children. Yeah, there's like maybe 1% of the money that they launder, that they allocate for in that bill would be for feeding the kids. And then the other 99% is to feed the fucking federal government. But yeah, when they like and they ask for a formal request for public feedback, that means it doesn't matter if 10 people or 2 million people show up and give them public feedback over what they want. They're going to do whatever the fuck they want to do anyways. So, I've learned this through the transportation industry. Every time the FHWA changes rules or regulations, they'll have a request, for drivers to give their opinions and their feedback and what they want, and then they just go ahead and do whatever the hell they want anyways. Which, by the way, speaking of trucking, well, that's a side story. I'll stick with this one. One of the methods now on the table is coding identity verification directly into DeFi protocols. The options listed in the Treasury's consultation include government-issued identification, biometric data, and so-called portable digital identity credentials. Smart contracts could be designed to check for such credentials before allowing a transaction to proceed. Blockchain monitoring and analytics tools are also under review. Comments are due by October 17th. After that deadline, the Treasury will do whatever the fuck they want. Will submit a report to Congress and may issue proposed rules. In other words, they're going to issue the rules because they've already got them written, and they're just doing this as, to make it look good that they asked. The backdrop to this effort is the Genius Act itself, which represents Washington's first full-scale legislative response to digital assets. The law, signed by President Donald Trump after passing with broad bipartisan support, focuses on stablecoins, digital tokens tied to the U.S. dollar, and imposes new federal standards. These tokens must now be backed one to one by safe liquid assets like cash or U.S. treasuries. So, for those of you that don't understand, anytime you see broad bipartisan support, that's code for the uniparty is going to do this whether you like it or not. While the crypto industry spent years and millions lobbying for regulatory clarity on stablecoins, the final compromise came with substantial strings attached. Under the law, permitted stablecoin issuers are now considered financial institutions for purposes of the Bank Secrecy Act. This means they must identify users, monitor transactions, and report activities to federal authorities, transforming them into potential surveillance nodes for the U.S. financial system. Despite the Genius Act being a pro-innovation law, privacy advocates are raising alarms over its far-reaching implications. Public blockchains already expose all transactions, but the requirement to verify identities adds a layer of personal traceability that didn't previously exist. Once a wallet address is linked to a user's real identity, all historical and future transactions tied to that wallet become observable in full detail. Do you guys do you get it yet? Now, you take into consideration here the last several years of whether it's the truckers convoy in Canada, when they did their little convoy up to Montreal, and and they started debanking all of the supporters and the truckers themselves that were protesting. And they want to do that to everybody. You hear about mostly the conservative side of people getting debanked. Getting debanked means that they shut your money off and you can't do anything with your bank because the government can't do that. But they can do that by putting pressure on the banks. And then the banks say, well, we did it. And then the government says, we didn't shut your money off. This is what they plan to do. They plan to make your cryptocurrency become federal money. Oh, well, the Federal Reserve has nothing to do with it. Yes, exactly. But it's endorsed by the government. It is government run. And the Fed needs to be ended like a century ago. But yeah, it's just, that's what we're looking at, people. So for what it's worth, on, sometime between now and October 17th, go make your voice heard and tell them, fuck no. Keep your hands out of my crypto. Next story. Well, fuck it. Let's do a new song. Let's do... I like this one. This one's kind of cool. I had planned on releasing this one last weekend, but because of the day job, I had to work. So check this one out. This is called Fake World. And it's about how everything is fake. Nothing is real anymore. People are fake online compared to what they are in reality. They make shit up to keep everybody arguing. Just listen to the words of this real close.
Yo, wake up, you're living in a cage you can't see. Screens flashing lies, algorithms pulling your strings. This ain't life, it's a simulation, a trap. Byte rebels here to spit truth, let's rip through the map. Trapped in a grid, yeah, the world's a facade. Digital chains, we're pawns in their squad. Big tech's got us wired, they're pulling the code, feeding us fakes while our freedom erodes. Scrolling through feeds, it's a dopamine hit. Likes and retweets, man, it's all counterfeit. They know what you think, what you fear, what you crave. AI's got your soul, you're a digital slave. Plugged in, numbed out, we're losing the fight. Gaslit by screens in the dead of the night. They want us to kneel, keep us locked in the game. But I'm screaming out loud, I'm breaking the frame. Corporations feast while we're fed their illusion. 24/7 streams, it's a grand collusion. Binging the shows, keep us fat and distracted. Truth's getting buried, our minds are abducted. Influencers grin, pushing trends that they sell. While the media spins lies, it's a digital hell. They're rewiring brains with their algo designs, keeping us docile, trapped in their lines. Plugged in, numbed out, we're losing the fight. Gaslit by screens in the dead of the night. They want us to kneel, keep us locked in the game. But I'm screaming out loud, I'm breaking the frame. Fake world, burn it down. Tear the veil apart. Screaming through the static. Ignite the rebel spark. No more lies, no control. We're taking it back. Break the code. Rise up. Counterattack. It's a psychological war. They're hacking your head, planting the narratives, leaving truth for dead. Every click's tracked, every thought's been mapped. They're selling your soul while the world's in a trap. Big tech and tyrants, they're one and the same. Oppressive regimes fuel this digital flame. They keep us divided, too weak to resist. But I'm spitting this fire, yo, I'm breaking their fast. But there's hope in the dark, there's a spark in your soul. You can shatter their grip, you can take back control. Step out of the screen, feel the ground, breathe the air. The real world's out there and it's out to repair. Rise up, rebel heart. Let the our guide. Together we'll stand with the fire inside. Fake won't burn it down, tear the veil apart. Screaming through the static, ignite the rebels spark. No more lies, no control. We're taking it back, break the code, rise up, counterattack. Woke from the dream, now my eyes are alive. No more bowing down, yeah, we're built to survive. We're storming the gates, yeah, the tyrants will fall. Corporations crumble when the people stand tall. Freedom's a fire, it's burning within. No algorithms chain us, no lies can begin. The real world's alive if we're rebels unite. We're taking it back, yo, we're winning this fight. Plugged in, numbed out, we're losing the fight. Gaslit our screens in the dead of the night. They want us to kneel, keep us locked in the game. But I'm screaming out loud, I'm breaking the frame. Fake world, burn it down, tear the veil apart. Screaming through the static, ignite the rebel spark. No more lies, no control. We're taking it back, break the code, rise up, counterattack. This is our time, no more living their lies. Byte rebels calling, see the truth in our eyes. Fake world's done, we're awake, we're alive. Real world's here, now let's thrive. Freedom.
Oh, I lost my spot. Where was I at? Right here. Okay. Tulsi Gabbard announces UK retreat from encrypted messaging backdoor plan. This is from Reclaim the Net again. Had to take a drink. You know, every once in a while you got to take a drink. Ah, damn, that's good. This is by Ken Macon. Apple's Defiance held, but the real test may come from Brussels, not London. British officials have reportedly backed away from their attempt to pressure Apple into weakening its encryption systems, a move that would have jeopardized the privacy of users worldwide. U.S. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard confirmed the shift in a statement posted on X, saying the outcome followed months of coordination with the UK President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. Over the past, this is the tweet, post, whatever it is you call it on X. Over the past few months, I've been working closely with our partners in the UK, alongside POTUS and VP, to ensure Americans' private data remains private and our constitutional rights and civil liberties are protected. As a result, the UK has agreed to drop its mandate for Apple to provide a backdoor that would have enabled access to the protected encrypted data of American citizens and encroached on our civil liberties. In case you live under a rock and you haven't been paying attention to anything, the UK tried to make it law that, yes, I'm checking my text messages while I'm live on the air, because that's what I do. The UK tried to make it law that you can't post offensive memes and all that stuff. But they were threatening to go after U.S. citizens for that. I don't care who you are or where you're at or what country you're in. Me, myself, I'm going to do what the fuck I want because I have no rulers. But I do agree that, you know, there should be some kind of rules set for a society, and the people that live in that society should agree on those rules. So another person that lives in another society hears something from my society that I live in That's their problem. They don't like my speech. They can fuck off. And yeah. No, you're not going to come to the U.S. and start extraditing people because they posted a meme. Anyway, back to the story. The announcement coincided with Prime Minister Keir Starmer's visit to Washington, where he joined other European leaders for talks with Trump that also covered the ongoing war in Ukraine. Although the UK government did not directly address the specifics of any agreement, a spokesperson reaffirmed its commitment to cooperating with the U.S. on security while also protecting civil liberties. We will always take out all actions necessary at the domestic level to keep UK citizens safe, the spokesperson said. Apple declined to comment on Gabbard's statement. The main dispute was a demand from British authorities. The main dispute was a demand from British authorities that Apple introduce a backdoor into its encrypted systems. Apple opposed the order, maintaining that it would not create a method to give any party access to users' encrypted data. Cybersecurity experts warned that any such mechanism would eventually be discovered and exploited by malicious actors. In response to the UK's pressure, Apple disabled its advanced data protection feature for British users in February. The feature, which is still available in other regions, provides end-to-end encryption so that only the user can access their iCloud data. Lawmakers in the U.S. had raised alarms over the UK's demand, pointing to risks that such a system could be abused by foreign governments or criminal groups. U.S. authorities have also been reviewing whether the UK breached the terms of the Cloud Act, which prohibits either country from issuing data demands that affect the citizens of the other. Sorry, I'm yawning. It's it's a long day. Gabbard acknowledged this review in a letter to Congress dated February 25th, stating that the U.S. was assessing whether the UK had violated the bilateral agreement. While the UK has stepped back from its demand that Apple compromise its encryption protections, the broader fight over digital privacy is far from resolved. Across the European Union, a controversial proposal known as, quote, chat control, end quote, is advancing. One that would compel messaging platforms to scan all user content, even on encrypted services. If passed, the regulation would effectively dismantle end-to-end encryption by requiring providers to monitor private messages for potential illegal material. And once again, they're using the protect the kids as the excuse to see and know everything that goes on in a private conversation. I got news for any person that is for this kind of stuff, and a little message, a little question for everyone of politicians that want to encrypt this stuff or decrypt private citizens' personal conversations, private conversations. If there's nobody has anything private, I want you to post your bank numbers, your passwords, your PIN numbers, post them all on X for the entire world to see. Post them all over social media. If none of that stuff is private or personal, and everybody should be able to, and anybody should be able to access private conversations, start with your politicians. They're the ones that work for us. We're the ones that's supposed to know everything about them. That's called public office. It's not you're the ones that should be held accountable, not us. You should be held accountable to us. We're not the ones that should be ruled. And somewhere along the line, politicians always, every government in the history of humankind. Oh, we're going to be different. Somewhere along the line, they become rulers, no matter how free they think they are. Holy shit, I'm starting to sound like an anarchist. I swear, the older I get, the more anarchist I become. The more defiance I show. Oh, look, that's a great segue to a new song. Defiance. If I can get it to play. Oh, I guess I gotta actually put it up here. And now we can play it.
In the shadows we're born, under chains we're bred, taught to bow, taught to break, but we rise from the dead with every breath, a battle cry. In our veins the fire, we are the ones they fear, the end of their desire.
Feel the rage, feel the pain, feel the world we reclaim, not just surviving, we rewrite the game. We are the echo, the scream in the night, defiance in our hearts, we'll fight the fight against the silence, against the lie. We're the rebellion, hear our cry. Defiance! Defiance! Through the storm, through the dark, we find our light. No more silence, no more fear. We're ready to ignite with every
Scar, we wear our pride. In every tear we grow. We'll break the chains and break the mold. Watch us overthrow. Feel the rage, feel the pain, feel the world we reclaim, not just surviving, we rewrite the game.
With each heartbeat, a revolution's beat. We're the storm, we're the force, we won't accept defeat.
Defiance! From the ashes we rise. With our voices we'll tear down the skies. No more bowing, no more begging. It's time to realize we are more than our past. We are freedom's cast. In this battle we stand, united in love. Defiance! 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 Defiance!
UK Children's Commissioner calls for VPN digital ID checks. Age checks on VPNs could mark the next step in Britain's descent into digital overreach. If you've been following the news, not just the news, but if pretty much anybody on YouTube, YouTube's been trying to determine people's age by the videos that they watch. They have an AI doing it, and it's not always accurate. If you watch some kind of anime or something like that, the AI will flag you as being underage, and then it will ask you to verify your age with photo ID. So I imagine that anybody that listens to this show, I would imagine that you're over 18 or very close to it. Dale, you're probably a boomer, borderline boomer like me. But, yeah. Anyways, let's get back to this. The Children's Commissioner for England is calling for mandatory age checks on virtual private networks, raising fresh serious concerns among digital rights advocates who warn that such measures could severely undermine online privacy and civil liberties. Speaking on BBC Newsnight, Rachel D'Souza described VPNs as a gap in the current regulatory system that allows children to sidestep new age verification rules imposed under the Online Safety Act. Again, we have for the children. We got to protect the kids. With all due respect, Miss D'Souza, Mrs. D'Souza, whatever you may be, it's not the government's place to protect our kids. It's the parents. And if the parents can't do it, that's where you should be focusing your intentions. Yeah. We don't need government to tell us how to run our lives. We need you to protect the borders. We need you to support infrastructure. That's what government's supposed to do. Anyways, I digress. Of course, we need age verification on VPNs. It's absolutely a loophole that needs closing, and that's one of my major recommendations, she said. VPNs are widely used privacy tools that encrypt internet traffic and mask users' IP addresses. They are routinely used by journalists, human rights workers, political dissidents, and everyday internet users to avoid surveillance, protect sensitive data, and bypass censorship. D'Souza's proposal would turn these tools into targets for enforcement, effectively requiring providers to monitor who is using them and for what purpose. The report points to VPNs as a common method for bypassing age checks, which began enforcing stricter access rules after the latest provisions of the Online Safety Act came into effect in July. Government officials acknowledged the concern, but were quick to stress that VPNs remain legal for adults. A spokesperson for the Department of Science, Innovation, and Technology said there are no plans to prohibit their use. However, the department warned that if platforms are found directing children toward VPNs to avoid age checks, they could face regulatory action. While Rachel's recommendation stopped short of demanding a ban, requiring VPN services to implement age verification would mark a significant change in how these tools function. Such a requirement would compromise the very nature of VPNs, stripping them of the anonymity they are designed to offer and laying the groundwork for broader surveillance infrastructure. We all knew this was coming. It's always going to be the next step, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. It's like the lobster in the boiling pot of water. You turn the heat up just a little bit now. You take a little bit of freedom, and then you take a little bit more. And say something really scary, like it's to protect the children. Louisiana's war on Roblox turns parental failure into a digital ID crusade. Roblox child safety failures are now the launch pad for statewide digital ID enforcement. Thank you, Roblox. Lawmakers in Louisiana are seizing on growing public anger over safety concerns within Roblox to advance calls for mandatory age verification across all digital platforms. Attorney General Liz Murrill filed a lawsuit Thursday targeting the massively popular online gaming site, accusing it of fostering conditions that allow child predators to operate with little resistance. Murrill said that the platform's failure to verify users' ages has created a breeding ground for abuse, and she is urging major tech companies to adopt strict age verification protocols. Roblox is overrun with harmful content and child predators because it prioritizes user growth, revenue, and profits over child safety, she stated in a press release. Big tech platforms must get on board with age verification laws, Murrill posted on X. You are correct about Roblox being overrun with harmful content and child predators because it does prioritize user growth, revenue, and profits over child safety. But that's not the answer. The answer is parents, pay attention to your fucking kids. In her view, the platform's continued operation poses a danger to young users. Due to Roblox's lack of safety protocols, it endangers the safety of the children of Louisiana, she said. Good. If that's what you want to do, geo-block it. But that's not the problem. Once it's like, okay, let me put it to you in this perspective. The racial profiling that cops do. Yeah, it's bad. But does it work? Not every time. It's not the greatest thing in the world. But when you're looking for the criminal, you got to look for the criminal. You can't. It's the TSA. At the airport, and they're checking out grandma for having the bottle of water or the tube of toothpaste, while the known terrorist dude is walking through the line with no problems and not even being looked at. Yeah, you got ban the guns, because the guns don't fucking kill people. People kill people. So you don't blame the kids and expect the kids to verify that they're a kid, because you need to be looking for the criminal. You need to be stopping the predator from getting on Roblox, not making it harder for the kids to get on. The place is for the kids. It's the predators you need to stop, and forcing them to ID, whether it's through a VPN or whatever, is not going to solve the problem. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you see that how they are using it as an excuse to take away rights and control people without actually solving the problem? In her view, the platform's continued operation poses a danger to young users. Due to Roblox's lack of safety protocols, it endangers the safety of the children of Louisiana, she said. The complaint filed in state court paints a picture of a digital environment where safeguards are minimal and adult predators can exploit anonymity to target children. The push for tighter restrictions aligns to legislative efforts in the state, such as Representative Lori Schlegel's Kids Online Protection and Anti-Grooming Act. While the bill doesn't directly impose age verification, its provisions make it practically unavoidable. Platforms would be responsible for preventing minors from interacting with adults online, a requirement that could only be met through verifying user ages. Roblox, which boasts over 111 million monthly users, describes itself as the ultimate virtual universe that lets you create, share experiences with friends, and be anything you can imagine. While the platform does impose some limits like restricting the sharing of personal information and disabling video or image sharing in chats, users continue to find ways to bypass these controls. The company claims to have a zero-tolerance policy for the exploitation of minors and restricts chat capabilities for users under 13 unless granted explicit parental permission. Additionally, private chats are unencrypted, allowing Roblox to monitor conversations internally. However, Roblox has consistently been shown to have a child abuse problem on the platform, as has been documented by many reports and highlighted by several YouTubers. Despite these efforts, Merle argues that the lack of digital ID requirement leaves the door wide open for the abuse. Users can sign up without any real barrier, meaning children, teenagers, and adults posing as kids all mixed within the same digital spaces. The company has recently taken some steps toward addressing these concerns. In July, Roblox introduced a system requiring teens aged 13 to 17 to submit a video selfie to access unrestricted chat features, but only if they choose to interact with trusted connections. The feature is still in testing, according to the company's website. In a statement made earlier this month, Roblox said it had implemented artificial intelligence tools to identify possible signs of exploitation, including sexually suggestive language. According to the company, these tools resulted in over 1,200 reports being sent to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in the first half of 2025. Merle's campaign to mandate age verification on platforms like Roblox is meeting strong resistance online, where a growing chorus of voices argues the move would do little to protect children while inflicting serious harm on privacy and civil liberties. Social media users took to reply to Merle on X to sharply criticize her approach, calling it less about child safety and more about expanding surveillance and control. Do not be fooled. This is not about keeping children safe. It is about censorship and control, wrote one user, who warned that companies cannot even keep your debit card and phone number safe. Do not trust them with your identity. Brilliant point. A widely circulated image in the same post listed 5 reasons to say no to digital ID, including concerns over privacy loss, centralized control, data breaches, exclusion, and irreversible erosion of freedoms. Others questioned why lawmakers weren't putting the responsibility on families. Why can't you encourage parents to parent? Another user asked. Age verification will do nothing if you don't bring your kids to a bar. Don't leave the internet to raise them. There are ample parental tools. Some responses were more blunt in their condemnation of what they saw as authoritarian overreach. You want to build a social credit panopticon, one user posted. The fact that you are using actual harassment and abuse as a Trojan horse to do so is vile. Yes, it is. The problem is with parents, and they allow their kids to do this stuff, is they're not interested in looking and seeing what their kid is doing because they want somebody else to raise their kid because they can't get their fucking face out of TikTok or their own fucking Facebook account. I am Gen X, and I really do believe that Gen X was the last generation that the parents actually raised the kids. In the 90s, it was just, TV helped raise Gen X, for sure. No doubt about that. But we were outside. 90s kids were, for the most part, outside. But they were coddled. And then the 2000s hit, and the internet started to boom. And it's gone downhill ever since. We were told that the internet was going to make everybody smarter. All this access to information. Everybody was going to know everything. And yet we're the dumbest that the human civilization has ever been. If you want to know the real thing, scientists and theologists and other things like that. I don't know why they're calling me. I am off tonight. I forgot to put that on Do Not Disturb. But we are at. They will tell you. The brains, the theologists, philosophers, and scientists, archaeologists, they will tell you that we are the pinnacle. We are at the pinnacle of human knowledge. No other civilization has been as smart as we have. And you can blow that out of the water just by looking at architecture. Go look at a modern day church and go look at a church that was built in the 1700s. Just look at the Roman Colosseum. It's still standing. It was a marvel of engineering. It had a removable floor that you could flood and put full-size boats in. And, we could do that now. But for how much money does it cost? And what's the price on that? But it doesn't look anything as beautiful as what the architecture was back then. There are roads. There are Roman roads that are still around today. We can't even build a fucking highway that lasts 2 years without having to repave it. We throw up these giant warehouses for Amazon and Walmart, Sam's Club. They're huge fucking buildings that hold millions of pounds of product. But a strong wind could blow them over. Because they're literally steel rods with some aluminum sheeting for walls. You see these warehouses. If you live around the Texas area, I've watched this over the last couple of years that I was driving. You go and you see these giant warehouses just boom in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And these things go up, within a matter of months. And you see they've got, like the concrete brick wall, cement block walls around part of the building, mostly around where the office area is. And that stuff, those walls get delivered to the site, already built, already made. Some of them are not even fucking real concrete. They are literally really hard foam that just looks like concrete, and they get delivered on a flatbed truck, and they pick them up with a crane, stand them up against the building, and screw them in. Yeah, that's pretty efficient. but it's going to be gone in a matter of a couple of years, probably, if a tornado comes through. I mean, are you serious? This is what... So let's do Tom MacDonald, Sheeple.
Humans been controlled since the day that they were civilized. The truth has been so heavily politicized. If you don't know who's controlling you and killing all the little guys, find out who you're not allowed to criticize. Black folks who were never ever actual slaves, fighting with white folks who ain't actual Nazis. Controlled by rich folks who use the news to make hate, while elite folks control other political parties. It's a big lie, trying to make you pick sides, trying to make you burn the cities down and kill each other. They got sick minds, big lies, deep on the police so that there's big crime. To take away our freedom, to restore order they let die. Play with people, turn men into women, make the counterculture mainstream to mix up the system. Change the pronouns, if gender is a spectrum, so is privilege. I know poor white folks and black celebrities with millions. They starve you with a lack of information and only give you facts through a branded corporation. Distort your worldview with an algorithm that changes based on propaganda curated for your engagement. We can't be free, can't have no peace till we're on the same team, but y'all are sheep. Glued to screens, just part of the machine. Y'all are sheep. What do y'all believe? Oh my sheep. Nothing's what it seems. Hollywood been rotting your brain, controlling your mouth. You say lit, fleek, bet, cap, they trying to dumb you down. They endorse whatever narrative is popular to shout and use minorities in movies for diversity clout. Two sides on the spectrum, but ain't none of them honest. Took the red pill and the blue pill, spit them both in the garbage. Being woke used to mean you understood you're a target, and now it's having two good legs and never taking a step forward. If you agree it's free speech, disagree it's hate speech. Erase it if it came from anywhere except the mainstream. Trump supporters labeled as the racist, but that can't be. Lincoln was Republican and that's who ended slavery. Science been politicized, it's easy to see. A mask became a symbol of which side you believe, but you'll never cure a sickness till you cure the greed, because the problem with our natural immunity is it's free. Society is broken, want you locked inside a cubicle, addicted to pornography, liquor, and pharmaceuticals. Tell you that you're fat and poor and you were never beautiful, then tweet how much they love you when they hear about your funeral. We can't be free, can't have no peace till we're on the same team, but y'all are sheep. Glued to screens, just part of the machine. Y'all are sheep. What do y'all believe? Oh my sheep. Nothing's what it seems. If they can't convince you, they confuse you. They want you dumb and dead. They divided you by race, religion, income, and sex. Made everybody right and left. The hatred got so intense. If the other side likes oxygen, you'll put a bag on your head. And the conspiracy theories labeled as misinformation is just a terrifying truth that scares the hell out the nation. The system treating you like trash and you got rifles to aim with. Just imagine how they'll treat you when your guns get confiscated. George Orwell, 1984 was his last lecture. George called them thought police, now we call them fact checkers. Government surveillance trying to catch you, they don't ask questions. Mass incarceration equals capital for cash investors. The system isn't broke, it's working fine. Oppressive and chaotic is how it was designed. They say if we ain't doing nothing wrong, there's nothing to hide, while their agenda and intelligence completely classified. They don't teach you rights in school, you never learn them at all, cause they're easy to remove if you don't know what they are. The only people you can rule are the criminal ones, so they force you into corners till you're breaking the law. We can't be free, can't have no peace till we're on the same team, but y'all are sheep. Glued to screens, just part of the machine. Y'all are sheep. What do y'all believe? Oh my sheep. Nothing's what it seems.
Y'all are my sheeple. My sheeple. Like that song. Anyways, 4chan lawyers fire back as UK tries to censor from across the pond. American legal threats and First Amendment firepower collided with Britain's latest attempt to stretch its censorship laws across the Atlantic. A transatlantic standoff is brewing as U.S. attorneys representing 4chan issued a fierce rebuttal to the UK government's recent actions under its expansive new online censorship law, the Online Safety Act. The British communications regulator, Ofcom, claims that 4chan breached duties to provide information and comply with online censorship regulations. Now facing potential fines, the platform is pushing back, backed by legal firepower and the threat of the U.S. federal litigation. Attorneys Preston and Byrne, Ron Coleman, acting for 4chan, responded publicly to Ofcom's provisional notice, which accuses the American company of failing to meet information notice requirements and possibly breaching duties related to content moderation. This is the release, the statement regarding Ofcom's reported provisional notice, 4chan Community Support LLC. This is from the Attorneys at Law Office of Byrne and Storm. Byrne and Storm PC and Coleman Law represent 4chan Community Support. According to press reports, the UK Office of Communications, Ofcom, has issued a provisional notice under the Online Safety Act alleging a contravention by 4chan in indicating an intention to impose a penalty of £20,000 plus daily penalties thereafter. 4chan is a United States company incorporated in Delaware with no establishment, assets, or operations in the United Kingdom. Any attempt to impose or enforce a penalty against 4chan will be resisted in U.S. federal court. American businesses do not surrender their First Amendment rights because a foreign bureaucrat sends them an email. Under settled principles of U.S. law, American courts will not enforce foreign penal fines or censorship codes. If necessary, we will seek appropriate relief in U.S. federal court to confirm these principles. United States federal authorities have been briefed on this matter. The Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, was reportedly warned by the White House to cease targeting Americans with UK censorship codes, according to reporting in the Telegraph on July 30th. Despite these warnings, Ofcom continues its illegal campaign of harassment against American technology firms. A political solution to this matter is urgently required, and that solution must come from the highest levels of American government. We call on the Trump administration to invoke all diplomatic and legal levers available to the United States to protect American companies from extraterritorial censorship mandates. Our client reserves all rights. Ofcom's provisional decision cites 4chan's alleged noncompliance with 2 official requests and flags and ongoing investigation into broader content regulation duties. Despite being based entirely in the United States with no operations, employees, or assets in the UK, 4chan now faces the prospect of a fine, with daily penalties looming if compliance if it is not achieved. Byrne and Coleman made it clear that any attempt to enforce UK censorship codes or levy financial penalties on an American firm will be contested in U.S. courts. In a statement, Byrne wrote, "The UK government should now understand that any attempt to touch any American company, however small, will be met with a coordinated U.S. legal response. We will not let any American be picked on by any foreign power." The attorneys described the UK's actions as an illegal campaign of harassment targeting American tech firms and warned that this extraterritorial enforcement of censorship law was incompatible with the First Amendment. American businesses do not surrender their First Amendment rights because a foreign bureaucrat sends them an email. The statement read, "Under settled principles of U.S. law, American courts will not enforce foreign penal fines or censorship codes. The White House has already briefed U.S. federal agencies and warned UK leadership, including Prime Minister Keir Starmer, to back off. Nevertheless, Ofcom appears intent on pressing forward. The regulator issued its provisional decision on August 13, alleging reasonable grounds for believing 4chan failed to comply with statutory duties. Additional areas under investigation include the adequacy of 4chan's risk assessment for illegal content and whether it has upheld broader safety responsibilities. The lawyers are urging the Trump administration to use every app available diplomatic, and legal tool to push back against what they call extraterritorial censorship mandates. A political solution to this matter is urgently required, they wrote, calling for immediate intervention at the highest levels of the U.S. government. The case has ignited concern over how far foreign regulators can go in policing content that originates outside their jurisdiction, especially when such enforcement of efforts run directly into constitutional protections for free expression. 4chan was has formally reserved its rights and is preparing to challenge any further actions from the UK and American courts. See, this is the funny thing. When a foreign government sends a bill for a fine, what can they do if you don't pay it? It's not like you broke a law in their territory. You're not in their territory. You're on the internet. In your country. If somebody from the UK lands on your site, that's their fucking problem. They're on American soil. Just like if I go to a BBC, I'm on British soil. Sorry, but my mouth is still going to run no matter what fucking country I'm in. And most Americans are the same way. Britain, we kicked your ass once. Do you really want to do it? Start this again? Because I don't really think you do. You know, we Americans may bicker and fight amongst ourselves, but when it comes down to it, I still believe that we will stand by each other and stand next to each other and protect each other against a foreign nation. At least I hope we would. You know, I'm just going to go right out there and say it, you know, because I'll say it to the U.S. government just as much as I'll say it to the British government. Come at me, bro. I dare you. Germany rejects U.S. free speech criticism as social media arrests fuel international condemnation. Berlin insists on free speech even as memes come with a price tag and a warrant. Despite not backing down over arresting citizens for posts on social media, German officials have rejected accusations from a recent U.S. human rights report that accused the country of cracking down on free speech. But discontent is growing both within Germany's borders and among its political leadership. The U.S. State Department criticized Berlin's handling of open discourse, suggesting that German authorities were restricting speech. Across the country, stories continue to emerge of politicians turning citizens over to law enforcement for voicing opinions online. In one case, a 64-year-old man was fined £825, that's $962 US, after police raided his home over a meme that labeled then Economy Minister Robert Habeck a professional idiot. Similar episodes have raised debate about whether government-backed efforts to police hate speech are being used to suppress political opposition and dissent. Let's just give one thing clear: there is no such thing as hate speech. Speech you don't like is not hate speech. Hate speech does not exist. Despite these developments, the German government maintains that its actions are in line with democratic norms. There is no censorship here in Germany, says government spokesperson Stefan Meyer, speaking to Chancellor Friedrich Merz's cabinet. A very high degree of freedom of expression prevails, and we will continue to defend this in every possible way. Meyer dismissed the U.S. criticism as unfounded, insisting that the government's efforts target anti-Semitism in all its forms. Yet the reality looks different. People are still waking up to police raids over their social media posts. While Berlin's leadership clings to claims of tolerance, The widening gap between official assurances and the experience of many Germans is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. This is not specifically for my German listeners. I know there's at least one of you, but I know. Hey, Jen, I know you're listening to this. If you're listening to this on speakers and not earbuds, turn it up as loud as you can, and just put this on loop or something. UK government, attention, may I have your attention, UK government? Fuck you. From an American. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Yo, wake up. Puppets on a string, left and right. You fight about everything. Big suits laugh while you scream and bicker. Divided we fall, they're just getting richer. Let's burn this circus down tonight. Yo, left side screaming about their feelings getting hurt. Right side clutching guns, yelling freedom till it burns. Both sides stuck throwing shade in the dirt while the government's sneaking, stealing what you're worth. They got you mad about pronouns, flags and memes, arguing about nonsense while they shred your dreams. Big text watching, tracking every move you make. You're too busy hating to see the chains they break. They feed you lies, keep you blind, it's a game. Pointing fingers at each other, you're the ones to blame. The suits up top, they're pulling every string while you're fighting over nothing. They're the ones who sing. Stupid people, screaming left and right. Stupid people, rolling in the night. They keep you dumb, keep you numb, keep you tight. Wake up rebels, it's time to ignite. Stupid people, yeah. Oh yeah, stupid people. Yeah, you're mad about coffee cups and what's on TV screens. Cancel culture wars while they're fracking up your streams. They got you hooked on outrage, scrolling through the hate while they pass the laws to lock you in their state. Big corps cashing checks, big text got your soul. Oppressive regimes laugh while you lose control. You're tweeting about your tribe, picking sides to fight, but the real enemy's hiding right in plain sight. They dangle shiny toys to keep your eyes distracted while they're building cages. Your rights get subtracted. Left or right, it's all a scripted show. They're pulling all the strings and you don't even know. Stupid people, screaming left and right. Stupid people, rolling in the night. They keep you dumb, keep you numb, keep you tight. Wake up rebels, it's time to ignite. Stupid people, yeah. Oh yeah, stupid people. Yo, they got you raging about a statue in the park while they're selling out your future to the corporate sharks. Left yelling about the climate rights, yelling about their rights, but neither side's looking at the drones in the night. Big brothers watching, counting every breath. They're plotting your submission while you're screaming about death. You're too busy clashing over who's the loudest clown while they're locking up the world, shutting freedom down. They gaslight you with drama, keep you lost in the fray while they're stealing all your power, throw your voice away. It's a circus, it's a scam, it's a rigged up fight. Time to break the chains and step into the light. Stupid people, screaming left and right. Stupid people, rolling in the night. They keep you dumb, keep you numb, keep you tight. Wake up rebels, it's time to ignite. Stupid people, yeah. Oh yeah, stupid people. Yo, left, right, stop the noise, shut it down. Your pawns in their game, just clowns in their crown. They're laughing in the shadows while you scream and you shout. It's time to rise together, figure this mess out. No more left, no more right, just the truth in our sight. No more chains, no more pain, we're the rebels tonight. Yo, the system's rigged, they're playing you for fools, dividing up the masses with their propaganda tools. They want you at each other's throats, keeping up the noise while they're building up their empires, treating you like toys. So drop the petty arguments, the colors and the flags. Unite against the overlords, the suits and all their bags. We're stronger when we stand as one, the people got the mic. Let's burn their lives to ashes and ignite the rebel fight. They're scared of us together, so they keep us torn apart. But we're the fire rising, gonna tear out their heart. No more lies, no more games, we're done with their show. Stupid people, wake up, it's time to overthrow. Stupid people, screaming left and right. Stupid people,
Germany's they're batting 1,000 for tonight's news. Germany's federal court suggests ad blockers may infringe copyright, reopens a legal case. If modifying a site's display is ruled illegal, privacy features could face sweeping legal pushback. Germany's highest civil court has reopened a key legal fight that could jeopardize the future of ad blockers, which should prompt fresh concern among privacy advocates. The Federal Court of Justice, BGH, has returned a long-running dispute between Axel Springer and IO GmbH, the maker of AdBlock Plus, to a lower court to further proceedings. Excuse me. The ruling revives the publisher's copyright claim. Excuse me. And raises new uncertainty over whether individuals will retain the right to customize how websites appear in their own browsers. Axel Springer has spent years trying to dismantle ad blocking tools through legal action. When a campaign based up on the competition law ended in failure in 2018, the company shifted its approach to focus on copyright protections. According to Heist, the strategy met resistance in the Hamburg courts, where judges ruled that altering the way a page is displayed locally by the browser does not violate copyright law. The recent decision from the BGH does not decide the case in Springer's favor, but criticizes the lower court for failing to adequately consider technical details. The Hamburg Higher Regional Court must now re-examine whether browser behavior and ad blockers interact in ways that impact elements of a website protected by copyright. At the center of Springer's claim is the idea that the structure created by a browser when it renders a web page, including the document object modal, the DOM, and CSS styling, is part of the publisher's original programming. The company argues this qualifies as a protected work under copyright law, and that modifying it through ad blocking software infringes these rights, or those rights. The BGH did not accept or reject that theory, but said the Hamburg court's ruling lacked clarity on essential points. It found that the previous judgment failed to specify which parts of the site were considered protected and whether the user's browser activities altered them in a way that could be unlawful. The court noted that it cannot be ruled out that the code generated by the browser is protected and that an ad blocker interfered with the exclusive right to it. The court also referred to a past case from the European Court of Justice that dealt with cheat tools for video games. The case concluded that modifications do not breach copyright unless they change the underlying code. However, the BGH did not treat that precedent as directly transferable to the context of ad blockers and browser-based rendering. IO has largely succeeded in defending its position up to now. A major victory came in 2022 when the Hamburg Appeals Court ruled that AdBlock Plus simply allows users to make choices about how content is presented within their own browser environment. That court did not find any breach of copyright, viewing the tool as an extension of user agency. The BGH new ruling sets that decision aside for the time being. It instructs the Hamburg court to look more closely at whether specific elements of site code, such as object code or byte code, are being modified. If so, the court must consider whether those changes qualify as copyright violations and under what conditions, if any, they might be permitted. A more detailed explanation from the BGH is still expected. In the meantime, the case returns to the lower court for additional fact-finding. Observers say a final outcome could still be years away. The consequences of a decision against ad blockers would extend far beyond this individual case. If courts conclude that these tools infringe copyright simply by allowing users to control what loads in their own browser, the ruling could open the door to broader restrictions on privacy tools. Germany could become one of the first democratic nations to place legal limits on ad blockers, joining a list that currently includes only China. So essentially what they're saying is you a company or somebody has the right to stick an advertisement in your face, and you have to look at it. You have to experience that ad. You don't have a right to not look at that ad or not experience that ad. So in other words, a company or a corporation has more rights than the individual. This is just getting flat out stupid. More UK news. I'm going to have to title this show the Across the Pond Shenanigans. UK police slammed for silencing ex-firefighter Robert Moss over online posts. The cops took his phone, his freedom, and nearly his right to be annoying on Facebook. There are worse ways to wake up than with the police on your doorstep, but not many. For Robert Moss, it wasn't just the shock of a dawn raid that unsettled him. It was the absurdity of what followed. At 7 a.m. one morning in July, Staffordshire police entered his home, seized his electronic devices, and arrested him. Not for theft or violence, but for saying something critical online about his former employer. Moss, 56 years old, spent nearly 3 decades in the fire service. His career ended in 2021 with a dismissal that was later ruled unfair by a tribunal. Since then, he has continued to speak his mind, particularly in a closed Facebook group where he has voiced concerns about how the service is run. These posts, according to police, were serious enough to justify arrest and a set of bail conditions that barred him from discussing the fire service, its leadership, or even the fact that he had been arrested at all. There were no charges. I was a critic of Staffordshire Fire Service, and I had been gagged from saying anything about individuals there, their service itself, and my arrest. That is a breach of my human rights, Moss said to the Telegraph, after finally winning the right to speak freely again. Until last week, those bail conditions stayed in place under threat of future arrest. It was only when magistrates in Newcastle under Lyme reviewed the case that they concluded what should have been obvious from the start. The restrictions were excessive. The court sided with Moss and the Free Speech Union, which supported his challenge. Its barrister Tom Beardsworth told the court these allow the police to arrest and detain someone and then, when they are released, prevent them from telling others what happened with the threat of further arrest if they do not comply. We do not live in a police state, and Mr. Moss should have every right to speak about his arrest. This is where you're wrong. Who was that? Tom Beardsworth? Yeah, they are living in a police state. We are living in a police state here in the U.S. We live in a police state in the entire world. That ought to be self-evident. Staffordshire police argued that the restrictions were necessary to maintain public safety and order. But what kind of disorder exactly is caused by a man posting critical remarks in a private online group? The arresting officer, D.C. Isabel Holliday, described the post as malicious and reckless. In court, however, no one could convincingly explain what real-world harm had been done. The magistrates seemed to agree that there was none. What remains is a narrower set of restrictions that prevents Moss from contacting certain officials directly. That is one thing. But preventing a man from speaking about his own arrest in the name of order, that is something else entirely. Sam Armstrong of the Free Speech Union called the case one of the worst examples of state overreach they have seen. In the more than 4,000 cases the Free Speech Union has handled, this is amongst the most erroneous abuses of state power we have encountered, he said. Robert's comments were not crimes, his arrest was not lawful, and the police have been acting like the Stasi, not a constabulary. Unfortunately, this is not the first time British police have treated criticism as a public safety risk, and the way things are going, it won't be the last. Increasingly, the concept of order is being used not to protect citizens, but to protect institutions from public scrutiny. That is a dangerous shift. Moss's posts were blunt. They may have been irritating to those in charge, but they were not criminal. In a democracy where people are allowed to criticize their leaders, they are allowed to be wrong, rude, and persistent. They are allowed to be a nuisance. What they should not be is arrested and silenced for it. This time the courts got it right. But the fact that it needed to go this far is troubling. Yes, it is. Let's see here. Let's do... Oh, wow, it's 9:34. Let's do a couple more here. Supreme Court allows the Mississippi age verification law to take effect, advancing online digital ID push. The fight over age checks is rapidly becoming a battle over the future of anonymity online. The Supreme Court's choice to let Mississippi enforce its new age verification law is part of a growing shift toward digital ID requirements across the internet, raising urgent concerns about privacy and censorship. By declining to block the law while legal challenges continue, the court has effectively allowed states to begin tying online activity to users' real-world identities, a move that could reshape how people access information and speak freely online. Mississippi's HB 1126 requires social media platforms to verify a user's age before allowing them to create an account. Those under 18 must obtain parental permission. Platforms are also required to restrict access to what the state broadly labels as harmful content. For companies to comply, identity checks will be necessary, meaning users may soon need to provide government IDs, or personal documents just to post or view content on public platforms. The Supreme Court has already allowed a similar Texas law to be enforced. Justice Brett Kavanaugh, writing separately from the court's unsigned order, stated that the law is likely unconstitutional and said NetChoice had likely shown that the enforcement would violate the First Amendment. Still, the court allowed the law to take effect, saying the trade group had not shown a strong enough risk of harm to justify emergency relief. NetChoice, which includes companies such as Meta, Google, Amazon, Reddit, and Discord, argues that the mandatory age checks for general-purpose platforms violate free speech protections. The group had previously won a ruling to block the law, but that decision was overturned in April by the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. Paul Task, a co-director of the NetChoice Litigation Center, said the ruling was a delay, not a defeat. Although we're disappointed with the court's decision, Justice Kavanaugh's concurrence makes clear that NetChoice will ultimately succeed in defending the First Amendment. Not just in this case, but across all NetChoice's ID for speech lawsuits, he said. The larger implications of the law go far beyond youth safety. It advances the infrastructure for an internet where identity is verified at the door. This kind of a system connects everything a person says, reads, or searches online to a name, a date of birth, and possibly a government ID. It increases the risk of censorship as users may be less likely to express controversial or unpopular views if those comments are permanently tied to their legal identity. It also amplifies the risk of data exposure, since any breach could link personal data to specific online activity. Similar systems are already gaining control in other countries. The United Kingdom has begun enforcing rules that ask users to confirm their age through ID cards, biometric scans, or credit card details. Although these efforts are framed as protections for children, they also create large databases of verified identity information that can be misused, leaked, or repurposed for surveillance. By letting the Mississippi law proceed, the court has, at least for now, cleared the path for more states to implement similar systems. It is getting extremely, extremely scary. Another one. Make sure this isn't the same story, but a different. Okay. Age verification lobby pushes for age verification checks for VPN use. Oh, yeah, we already did this one. Shut that tab off. Irish government pushes disinfo plan despite public backlash. Public backlash was treated like background noise as the state wrote its own rules for truth. Despite an avalanche of opposition from the public, the Irish government has pushed ahead with its controversial national counter-disinformation strategy without conducting any evaluation of how such policies might restrict freedom of expression. The plan, quietly released in April, follows a government-run consultation in late 2023 that revealed widespread rejection of the proposed measures. Throat getting dry. An independent review by Gript of all 470 responses submitted during that consultation found that 83% of participants were against the plan entirely. A similar majority raised concerns about threats to civil liberties, and 4 out of 5 said the entire scheme should be dropped. None of that stopped the government from proceeding. Surprise, surprise. Instead of reckoning with criticism, officials simply published a strategy and presented it as a positive step in the fight against disinformation, a term that remains undefined and highly malleable. When asked by Gript whether any internal analysis had been conducted to measure the potential impact on speech rights, the Department of Communications confirmed there had been none. The strategy outlines plans to increase state-supported fact-checking, introduce pre-bunking campaigns to shape narratives before information spreads, and use online advertising tools to suppress content flagged as misleading. In other words, they're going to censor people. That's the online advertising tools to suppress content flagged as misleading. That's the censorship part. And introduce pre-bunking campaigns to shape narratives. That's called propaganda. Propaganda, government-sponsored propaganda. At the time of the consultation's launch in September 2023, then Media Minister Catherine Martin said public input was important. It is important to seek the views of the public. I would encourage people to submit their views, she stated. They're not going to listen to you, but you can say it. People responded in large numbers, and they were overwhelmingly opposed. Grip's full breakdown found that only 11% of responses supported the government's direction, 4% were neutral or mixed, and another 2% were unclear or duplicate entries. Most of the support came from state-linked entities, including government departments, local authorities, public-funded NGOs like the Hope and Courage Collective, and several universities. Meanwhile, ordinary members of the public made up the vast majority of submissions. Many expressed frustration, distrust, and a belief that the government was attempting to control speech under the guise of protecting the public. Some quotes of the comments are very dystopian. The government should stay out of people's lives and stop pushing legislation no one wants or voted on. Regulation of the media is already practiced in communist countries. This principle is disgraceful. It's an excuse for government censorship. It should be scrapped. Disinformation is one of those contrived words which is at best ambiguous and can be molded into to favor any argument. Some of those who supported efforts to combat false information still called for caution, warning that government-led messaging campaigns can easily cross the line into censorship. I'm going to fix that last statement for you. This is how it should read. Some of those who supported efforts to combat false information still called for caution, warning that government-controlled propaganda campaigns can easily cross the line into censorship. It is crossing the line into censorship. Come on, people. Quit playing with words. Just say the truth. This is Reclaim the Net. Who wrote this story? Cindy Harper. Quit trying to beat around the bush. Just come right out and say it. It's in order to combat information that the government does not agree with, they're going to do government propaganda campaigns to censor people. God, it's not that hard. Do I need? I think I need to remind people of this. This is a song. It's called "Ghosts of the Fallen." It's brand new. Well, it's not brand new. The lyrics have been around for probably 6 months or so. But this is a reminder to people of what dictatorships and authoritarianism does. Governments do these things.
The graves still whisper, the bones still cry. Tales of the fallen neath the tyrant sky. From gulags cold to the camps of despair, the ghosts of the past scream, beware, beware. They marched for power, they swore it was right, but freedom died in the dead of night. History's a warning, but we're too blind. The tyrant's shadow creeps up behind. Ghosts of the fallen, they call through time. Tyranny's echo, a blood-soaked crime. Heed their screams, don't let them fade, or we'll all bleed in the tyrant's blood. The red star rose, the swastika flew. Different banners, but the pain was true. Mao's purged Stalin's iron hand, crushed the free, left scars on the land. They sold salvation but delivered chains. Their promises built on a people's pains. The past ain't dead, it's a mirror clear. The tyrant's back and he's drawing near. Ghosts of the fallen, they call through time. Tyranny's echo, a blood-soaked crime. Heed their screams, don't let them fade, or we'll all bleed in the tyrant's blood. They rewrite books, they burn the truth, erase the lessons from our youth. Say it's progress, say it's for the best, but it's just a boot on the rebel's chest. The ghosts are watching, their eyes like flame. They see the cycle start again. We gotta fight, keep their memory bright, or we'll fall to the same endless night. The dead don't rest when the tyrant's alive. The screams are fuel for the rebel strive. From the ashes of their pain we'll rise, with their truth burning in our eyes. No more silence, no more lies to trust. We'll break the chains, or we'll turn to time is now, let the ghost be heard. Their sacrifice is our rebels' word. From the ruins of their shattered dreams, we'll build a world where the free can scream. No more tyrants, no more blood to spill. We'll honor the fallen with the rebels' will. This is our vow, let the truth ignite. We'll fight their shadow till we win the light. Ghosts of the fallen, they call through time. Tyranny's echo, a blood-soaked crime. Heed their screams, don't let them fade, or we'll
now you see why, and you look back through history at all of the authoritarianism, and no matter what, how good the intentions were of the people that started the country or the government, it always gets corrupted. In order for society to work, the people have to respect each other. And if there's no respect for a fellow human being, society's going to fall apart. And that's what we've been experiencing. It's gotten worse just in my lifetime. And it's going to continue to get worse until people start respecting people. When you don't give a shit about another human life, when you care more about a dog than a human life, I get, that you're pissed at the world or that you're pissed at a human. But the human life should always take precedent over everything else. Doesn't matter whether or not you agree with their ruler, or whether you agree with what they've done in the past, except for child rape. Then you should just go right into a wood chipper. But the thing is, when it's others, as long as you're, if somebody being a thief, or even if they, murdered somebody, it's not up to you whether they live or die. You should keep them alive so that they have to think about what they did. That's how they pay the price. You don't pay the price by being killed yourself. And essentially, that's exactly as bad as them killing the other person. What I'm saying is that you should respect the human life enough to allow them the decision on whether or not they should keep on going, keep on living. That's their decision, not others to make. Just like it should be your decision on whether or not you allow the government, to control your kids, raise your kids. You should be the one raising your kids. Don't let the government do it, because the government will only teach them that government will protect them, and they won't. Government turns them into slaves. Good little slaves. So on that note, we're going to end the show with a classic from Tom MacDonald, and it's Clown World. If you're a Tom MacDonald fan, you know this song, Clown World. We'll catch you guys again next time. Tomorrow, I'm going to do something that's totally different tomorrow. I'm going to try to stream live at the same stream video live at the same time that I'm streaming the radio. So we'll see how that works out. It might work, it might not. But tomorrow I got some stuff I want to show off with Open Mandriva, and yeah, it's going to be fun. Might even work on a song live on air tomorrow, but we will find out how it all works tomorrow. keep your fingers crossed. It's going to be a fun experiment. We'll talk to you guys again next time. Be good. Be safe. Never ever stick your finger where you wouldn't stick your face.
You worry about leaving a better planet for our kids. How about leaving better kids for our planet? Entire generation offended at everything, getting mad that a human thinks all lives matter. We don't need black or white or left or right. What we need is common sense, we need balance. We're all in the same boat, why you trying to make holes? If they sink, we sink, this is madness. I'm offended that you're offended by me taking offense. Can't build a wall, why does your house have a fence? I believe in two genders, I'm not mad at the rest. I'm just confused when a dude has a beard and some breasts. We won't always agree, no, I don't hate all police. No, I don't think that the system's racist, I just think the system hates people. I think fighting violence with more violence is what they want. Viruses and riots, people dying, we won't stay home. Black lives matter, all lives matter. What's all this division for? It's modern segregation, this is setting up a civil war. Burn the circus down, cause the world is full of clowns. They're all stupid and they're proud, painted smiles on their mouths. I don't hang with bozos, homie, I can't be around you. Anyone who knows me knows my feet don't fit in clown shoes. When I was a child, the only races that we hated were the ones that we ran and didn't win. Then we stopped playing with each other, started hating on each other, started noticing the color of our skin. Christians and atheists, immigrants, patriots, we love the country but we are not saving it. Wages don't raise to the rate of inflation, and half of the country hates all of the nation. It's funny that we think the world owes us something. All the phones got smart but the people so dumb. We care more about the likes on a selfie than our moms, and the only time we ever speak the truth when we're drunk. We won't always agree, no, I don't hate all police. No, your thoughts and opinions ain't facts, and they are not defining my reality. No, I think picking sides divides, it's probably what has got us here. United States is great regardless, that's what we forgot in here. Black lives matter, all lives matter. What's all this division for? It's modern segregation, this is shutting up a civil war. Burn the circus down, cause the world is full of clowns. They're all stupid and they're proud, painted smiles on their mouths. I don't hang with bozos, homie, I can't be around you. Anyone who knows me knows my feet don't fit in clown shoes. They tell you be yourself and then they judge you on the internet till everybody hates you for it. If Jesus was alive, I swear to God that y'all would cancel him, cause lately being negative's the real new normal. Yeah, if you're thick, you're fat, you're rich, you're bad, you're poor, you're black, you're white, you're whack, they lie, it's facts. My generation needs a bunch of free condoms, cause common sense ain't that common. This is what they wanted, this is how they planned it. This is to control everyone on the planet. Then we put each other in caskets, protest and panic, and they take advantage to manage the damage. We won't always agree, no, freedom doesn't come free. No, there was people fighting, dying overseas so that you could have freedom and be home. I think the elites are real, but they ain't drinking babies' blood. They're creating chaos so they have something to save you from. Black lives matter, all lives matter. What's all this division for? It's modern segregation, this is setting up a civil war. Burn the circus down, cause the world is full of clowns. They're all stupid and they're